February 2020 was a great month for mobile games. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 10 best free iOS and Android games of February 2020. At number 10 is Crystalborne Heroes of Fate, a strategy RPG that, honestly, I'm not going to say is going to light the world on fire or anything, but this is a very competent JRPG, gacha, strategy hybrid that just does things in a way that's significantly less irritating than a lot of these types of games. It's very clear that quality of life is something that was prioritized during the development of this. There's not massive amounts of time in between when you can unlock a chest, for instance. The battles aren't a million taps. The story is very minimal, and in this type of a game where there's a large number of things to do, and the expectation is that the story probably isn't going to be that good anyway, they kind of just let you play the game. I mean, it's a gacha game on your phone. It doesn't overestimate its own importance in your life, and because of that, it's a much more pleasant experience than a lot of other games in this genre. I would say fans of the genre definitely need to check this out. Crystalborne Heroes of Fate is enjoyable, and out on both iOS and Android now. At number 9 is Overdrive City, a car/city building tycoon game that honestly, I don't know exactly what they're going for with this, but it's actually a lot of fun. There's no town other than the one in the movie Cars that's completely centered around cars, and that's the town you have to build. Except for the cars are not anthropomorphic or alive or able to talk or anything like that, which if you ask me is actually quite helpful on account that aspect of the movie Cars is So the point is to build and collect cars. You build factories, they build cars. You build other structures that improve various aspects of your production cycle. And it features a bunch of actually licensed real cars. One minor criticism, it can get a bit slow, but that's fine. It's not the worst. It does have enough charm that it keeps me around. My final comment is basically, this is a car-themed city builder, which is weirdly refreshing. It's very silly. Overdrive City is out on iOS and Android now. At number 8 is Kick Flight, a game where you fly around and fight with swords in the air. The game bills itself as three-dimensional aerial action, and I would say that it delivers on that. Essentially, it's a 4 versus 4 real-time battle, and although the controls are a little bit wonky, as in not necessarily explainable in under a minute wonky, once you get used to them, the game is incredibly fun. This month we did get a couple of games that are just good examples of an established genre, but we've also gotten a couple of games like this where it's definitely not something I can easily compare to something else. I mean, the art style looks a little bit like Kingdom Hearts, but no one is going to call this game a Kingdom Hearts clone. Again, it's 4 versus 4 real-time battles. It's pretty fast-paced, it's not confusing, it's well laid out. Progression seems fair. I mean, all in all, it's really hard not to give Kick Flight some serious props, so check it out on iOS and Android now. At number 7 is Dadish, which is a platform game where you play as a radish who is also a dad who has lost his kids. It is perhaps the most wholesome concept for a game ever. It also has an art style that reflects that wholesomeness. Now, I think the best way to describe this game is if you took a slow-paced Super Meat Boy and combined it with Super Mario World. And this combination works really well. I personally really enjoyed playing a game that felt a lot like Super Mario World, but with more of a puzzle platforming focus. Again, it's extremely wholesome. It's not something that you're going to be confused by. It's not astoundingly hard, at least as far as I've gotten in it. But it's extremely fun. It's pleasant. It's got great music. I mean, there's really no downside to it. It's just a good game. It's got ads in it. Who cares, though? Dadish is a lot of fun, and it's out on iOS and Android right now. At number 6 is Shadowgun War Games, a first-person shooter, which gives you 5 versus 5 PvP. You have a number of different types of modes that you'll engage the various heroes in. I think you know exactly what type of game this is trying to be just from looking at it. It feels a lot like an Overwatch-style game with a tinge of Fortnite-style graphics. What it lacks in originality, it makes up for in pace. This is a very fast game that is incredibly hectic in a good way, and considering it has pretty tight controls, especially for a mobile FPS, it's really hard to say don't try it. The only reason I would say not to try it is if you need something that is completely original. It's not that, but it is actually really good. I personally prefer Capture the Flag. I've been enjoying the hell out of that mode. Definitely give it a shot. Shadowgun War Games is out on both iOS and Android right now. At number 5 is Lucid Adventure. Lucid Adventure is more or less an idle RPG. It's got some pretty basic battling, but with the auto battler, it's fine. You're not really playing it for that, which is why they make you earn the auto battling. They know. Once you get it, as far as what an idle RPG can be, it's a very good example of that. It's more or less, on top of those things, a hero collector, and it has a lot of fun heroes. Some very silly ones, and a lot of overall enjoyable moments. My only complaints that I can really levy are things that are not exclusive to this game. If you don't like idlers, you're not gonna like this game. It's that simple. I'm lukewarm towards them, and I found myself enjoying this one more than the average one, so as far as I'm concerned, that's probably a pretty big win for the game. Lucid Adventure is out on iOS and Android now. At number 4 is War Doh, as in Play-Doh, but I don't think it's an officially licensed Play-Doh game in any way, shape, or form. That's what it's trying to evoke. This is a real-time strategy card collecting Clash Royale-ish game. Now, it does bring in a lot of different elements to the game, a lot of unique buildings, stuff like that, and the aesthetic is certainly different than anything else you've seen in this genre. Basically, I would say that the main reason to play this is that it's kind of a Clash Royale type game with a lot of different heroes and buildings. It's not totally unlike it, but it's not a ripoff either. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. War Doh is out on iOS and Android now. At number 3 is LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed, a turn-based RPG which gives you tons of different LEGO heroes, obviously not the licensed ones from the LEGO movie, but instead more themed heroes. What I think you'll particularly like is that they did very much manage to capture the plastic look of the Legos. It plays very cool looking, everything looks like Legos, it moves like Legos, what we expect Legos to look like in 2020 in any video game. Over time, you also collect pieces to build sets, which add abilities and overall make the game at least have some dimension to it. I will say that while it is a lot of fun, I'm not sure it's one that can last for a long time, so while I would recommend it, I do feel like if you're not playing it next month, I get it. I feel like it could use a little bit more to it, but that doesn't mean what's there is bad. It's actually quite good. LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed is out on iOS and Android now. At number 2 is Dragonraha, a fantasy open-world MMORPG that was created on the Unreal Engine, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is well beyond what you would expect from a mobile game. And I'm going to go ahead and say that what you would normally expect from an MMORPG on mobile, it's all pretty much here, except for it's much more pretty, with a lot of attention spent on detail, not only to the graphics, but also to things like the movement. It's a game that does movement really well. It feels really responsive. It's a game that manages to feel kind of intimate while being a big, very large-scale MMORPG, and it really accomplishes a lot that we just really haven't seen before. That being said, is there really anything particularly innovative outside of the graphics and presentation and overall feel of the game? Maybe not. It is a lot of fun. Combat is quite good, actually, although there is auto combat as well. And there's more than enough here to say, if you like mobile MMORPGs, this is basically the Rolls Royce of it at the moment. Play Dragonraha on iOS and Android now. And finally, at number 1 is Dragon Quest of the Stars, a game that bills itself as an adventure RPG. This game is pretty darn good. You can play it basically like any RPG, alone. You can also find other people to do co-op. The battle system in it is turn-based. It calls itself the skill gauge battle system. It takes about 3 seconds to understand what's going on. You have a skill gauge that builds, and what you can do is affected by it. There's alright character customization. It's not going to blow your mind. It's nice to have, though, because you get some element of ability to affect what you look like in game. And overall, this is just a really fun, enjoyable thing. It's really well made. If you've played a Dragon Quest, it's very close to that, thankfully. And Dragon Quest of the Stars is out on iOS and Android now. As you know, since there have been less paid games coming out, we've been doing our paid games as bonus, and we've got 4 for you this month. The first is Company of Heroes, which is exclusive to iOS, at least at the moment. It's a World War II real-time strategy game that places an emphasis on a fast pace, and I would say that that's what sets it apart. It also has kinda grim visuals, not in a bad way, and it will suck you in. It's $13.99 and it is worth it. Next is Disgaea 1 Complete, a remaster of the original Disgaea game, which as you know is a strategy RPG, perhaps one of the best ones out there, and it looks better than ever. Also, if you prefer auto battle, it's there. It's $32.99, so the price tag is a little bit hefty, but it's out on both iOS and Android now. Next is House of Da Vinci 2, a 3D puzzle adventure along the lines of the Room games. It does actually have a story. It's not quite as polished as the Room games. However, it is a good story. I haven't beaten it, but I will say I will. I enjoy it enough that I'm not going to put it down. House of Da Vinci 2 is out on iOS and Android now for $4.99. Finally, perhaps one of the best ones on here is The Last Remnant Remastered. This is one of those games that just never really got the attention it deserved. It's a Square Enix RPG from the PS3 era that's heavy on otherworldly charm. If you like Square Enix RPGs, it's a must-buy. It's $20. It's out on iOS and Android now as well. And that's it. What did you play this month on mobile? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So subscribe, and don't forget to enable all notifications. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.